Moriah.
And I'm Ellieanna.
And today we're going to be presenting our mobile application development called FBLA WA.
So let's talk about the problem. Our task was to design an app that would come alongside an FBLA chapter. The user of the app would need to be able to sign up for FBLA, contact their chapter officers, track the meeting attendance of FBLA members, and access general information about FBLA.
And this brings us to our planning process. First, we planned out what we wanted the app to look like and how it would flow. As you can see by our sketch, we laid out the ways the pages would look, making sure we included all the necessary components. Next, we collected the data that we would need within our app. We put this data into arrays so it'd be easy to work with when we began to program. Finally, we wrote out how we wanted the app to work so that translating it into code would be easy. For example, in this picture, we talked through the first time the app launched, we would need to collect the user's first and last name, the team they belong to, and the user's email address.
And this brings us to the layout and navigation within the app. We wanted our app to be as easy to use and as clean as possible. We decided to go with the tabbed app from Xcode. This way, each function in the app is clearly laid out within the navigation controller that's along the bottom of the screen. This is a screenshot of the storyboard within Xcode. You can see each view controller and the arrows show how they're all linked together. We thought it would be a better idea to have more individual view controllers that were easy to navigate than less controllers with too much information packed into them.
Within each view controller, there are components that make them up. For example, on the Social Media tab, there is a UI label, a tab bar controller, and a web view. This brings us to the code. The code in this project is fully commented, so that in the future, other developers could look at it and understand it. It is fully written in Swift, which is a programming language developed by Apple. It has no errors when run and tested, and does have a bug reporting service available to users within the app itself, which we will take a look at in a moment.
Let's look at an example of some code from within the app. This is a piece from the page within the app where users can contact FBLA chapter officers. This IB action is written for James's contact button. When it is pushed, the email recipient is set to his email, the mail composed view controller is configured, and then within the if-else statement, the application checks to see if it can send an email. Within the other functions that are called within this IB action, the rest of the email is set up. The user is able to edit any of this information, so it's still a personal email. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, this is all the code we have time to walk through.
Another aspect that needed to be incorporated into our app was the Social Media tab. We decided that the landing page within our app would be the Social Media tab. This way, every time the user launches the app, they can see what new things have been happening with FBLA. There are 3 social media platforms that can be viewed, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The user can toggle back and forth between them easily thanks to the tab bar controller. The icon and graphics of our app were thought about too. The buttons within the app were designed to reflect the colors of FBLA. The icon was also designed with the colors of FBLA in mind, as well as the shape of Washington with a pinpoint to Vancouver, which is where our chapter is located.
Our privacy policy and terms of use are located on a Google site that we created and are also linked to within the app. This is a screenshot of what it looks like. We use some text from FBLA.org within our app, which are covered under the Fair Use Guidelines for Educational Multimedia. Now we will look at the packaging of the app. The package contains the Xcode project file, a README file, and a file containing instructions that explain how to use Xcode and navigate the app. The correlation between the problem that we discussed earlier and the parts of the app are explained in the instructions file. The app is fully compatible with many devices. These include the iPod 6th generation, all iPhone 6s and newer, and all iPads from the iPad mini 2 and newer.
Now let's take a look at the app in action.
To start off, let's look at the packaging of the app. When the folder is opened, you can see the project and all its files, the README file, and the instructions file. When the project is opened, all the files show up along the side, and within each file is all the commented code. I am now going to launch the app on both my iPhone, which is an iPhone 11, and on an iPad Pro 9.7 inch in the simulator. Unfortunately, email cannot be set up on the simulator, so aspects that require email cannot be demonstrated on the iPad simulator.
The first time the app is launched, the user is required to enter their first and last name and their email address. This is only required of the user the first time they launch the app. When this is done, the home page is displayed. Like I said earlier, the landing page within our app is the Social Media tab. If we toggle back and forth here, all 3 platforms are available. Let's move on to the Events tab.
This tab lists all of the events available to FBLA members. They're sorted by event type, and by clicking on them, you can see the event type, a short description, and a direct link to FBLA's website where the user can read more about the event that they're interested in. Let's say the user wanted to sign up for a current chapter event. They would click on the Current Chapter Events cell in the table view, and within it, they would see the Sign Up button, which allows them to send a pre-configured email to their chapter president. The Attendance tab displays the members of a chapter, and the user can add or delete members as they need. To track attendance, all the user has to do is select the members that were there and press Export. They are emailed a list of the users they collected along with the date of the meeting. On the Join tab, the user can join FBLA. They need to fill in the required information, most of which is pre-entered based on what the user entered the first time they launched the app. They then need to select 4 events that they may be interested in. This function does not allow users to select a current chapter event or to select 2 identical events. On the About page, there's both a Q&A as well as an About FBLA page. By selecting officers, the chapter officers are brought up, and the user can get in contact with them through email by selecting the officer they would like to contact. On the Contact Us page, users are able to contact the developers directly if they find a bug or have a question. The privacy policy and terms of use are linked here as well. Finally, the National FBLA Calendar is displayed on the Calendar tab. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present our app to you today.